For me, I call these things in my life my character building chapters. I've had several. In fact, I grew up on a farm. Guys, I was a farm girl. I grew up and I woke up every day and I took care of livestock and I was fighting ice with crowbars and like feeding critters, and my friends were snug asleep in their beds. When I graduated high school, I became an exchange student. Like I took off to a whole nother country speaking French. And that wasn't my mother tongue. And I didn't know anybody there. I didn't know where to go when I was sad, when I was mad, and I was happy. Like I broke every comfort zone I had. Like I lost all of it. And then at some point, I had two kids and I had a 10-year marriage. And I pursued what I'd hoped to be and turned out to be the most amicable disillusion I've ever been made aware of. Literally 2 kids and 10 years later, how do you fight for a situation where you get to have a good relationship with a former partner and raise 2 kids in a good space? And if that weren't enough, I also did this thing where I was like, I've been a big girl my whole life. I'm going to learn what self-care looks like, and I am going to, one life change at a time, over a year and a half, figure out a way to lose 150 pounds in a healthy way that's sustainable. Guys, after all this, I learned that none of these were my most impactful chapters. That came from a toe touch that went sideways. All of it were surpassed by this one moment. Imagine the before picture. This is what you're taking. The before picture looks like this fiercely independent woman that runs 5Ks, that climbs the corporate ladder, that is a jam-packed social calendar, that is a scratch baker, cooker, travel adventurer kind of mama, dependable giver to every single friend she's got. That is the starting point. The before picture, check. The during picture looks like this lady that does a cheerleadery toe touch, toes come out to the side. But when I land in one split moment, I jump off of a rock on a spring break trip. I do the toe touch and I land with my legs straight instead of bent to absorb all the shock. And my doctor calls me with the results of all the scans, and he lets me know that I overstretched an ACL, broke a tibia, and shredded a meniscus on one side, and the other side I tore an ACL. Translation for those of us who had business degrees, didn't understand all of their parts, it is that I had not one but 2 complete knee surgeries and 12 months of physical therapy as a single mom and a tri-level. Guys, I had to run my career, my household, and my parenting life through a combination of 3 things: crutches, an itty bitty book bag, and my triceps. Yeah, I was reduced to toddler transportation. Meaning I had a tri-level. Everywhere I went, there were stairs. So I had to learn to sit on my bottom again, and through a series of dips, raise and lower my entire body weight with my arms. If I wanted anything, I had to pack it into the itty bitty book bag that was strapped on at the front of me like a baby Bjorn. For those of you who are parents, it's like the little trapper keeper for the children on the front. But in my baby Bjorn, I had a laptop for work. I had food because I needed to eat. And I had water, drinks, notebooks, paper, pencil, anything that needed to travel with me, because I could never use my hands to carry, because my hands were my transportation. At the tops and the bottoms of every single staircase, I had landing chairs and crutches. Literally, I had a set of chairs and crutches, the tops and bottoms of every single set of stairs, because when I landed, I needed to keep it moving. Guys, the basics were frustrating. For the fiercely independent woman inside me, I felt helpless and I felt twitchy. Frustration came from the most unexpected sources. I went to Kroger. That's the grocery store, right? Have you ever spent time looking at those electric carts at the front? You have to wait for those suckers. And if you get one, and you ride on it because you need it because you got to get the groceries. Did you ever imagine one running out of battery? I didn't. But then I found myself stranded in the freezer aisle, completely at the mercy of a Kroger employee, a sweet resident Kroger. They had to find me. I couldn't call anyone. They had to find me in the middle of the freezer department, stranded in my completely abandoned scooter, and they had to go get me another one, bring it to me, and then they had to walk the one away from me. Never did I feel so helpless. Another source of frustration, ladies. Taking crutches in the itty bitty stalls of the ladies' room is a whole thing. And it's really, really aggravating when I realize that the other ladies in the world decide that handicap stalls are a really great place to get privacy for pooping. They don't need those stalls. They don't need the giant stalls. Those with the crutches need those stalls. It's like it's a whole thing. And to wake up and to end my day every day with 90 minutes of physical therapy in my bed, literally in my bed, hanging off my bed, in the middle of my bed. Like I couldn't go to a gym. 90 minutes a day in my bed, on top of the Kroger cart, on top of the stalls, or people are using the wrong stalls for privacy. But at the end of the day, I gotta reflect back. Have you guys heard that quote from Mr. Rogers? He talks about his mom. He talks about his mom when he looked at the news at times when things were scary. His mom said, look for the helpers. Watch for the helpers. So my life wasn't so scary, but there was definite frustration and unknown and ambiguity. But I will tell you that in my life, the helper showed up in so many ways. And for me, it looked like my small kids becoming helpful roommates. My little kids got the mail. They did the dishes. They got really good at cooking, preparing, moving things out of the floor so that mom didn't trip. My friends, they showed up. They mowed my grass. They did my laundry, like washed it, dried it, folded it, put it away, laundry fairies. My kids, guys, imagine a life where your kids get to see a revolving door of kindness where every day someone new shows up and they deliver food to your house. My kids got to see that kind of love. What I will tell you from my standpoint, it sounds like a real giant ass nuisance to have two busted wheels and a whole lot of not helpful situations. But it resulted in a rear view mirror and a whole lot of lessons for my kids. I thought I was doing them a favor at showing what life looked like when it ran smoothly. No, they learn so much more from understanding what happens when real life happens and you get a setback. You get a setback and you sit through it. You got to deal with the emotion, you got to deal with the logic, and you get to work hard and you get to show what a comeback looks like. And with my friends, I wanted to be there for them and I wanted to be dependable and I wanted to give. I was on the receiving end of things where I was most uncomfortable. And I learned that I was depriving my friends of joy. I was depriving them of joy if I didn't show them, if I didn't allow them to help me. The people like Dan, like Jada, like Jama that are sitting in this room right now, those are the kind of high caliber humans that I got to surround myself with. I get to share with them my struggles. I get to share with them my vulnerabilities, and I got to strengthen my relationships with them. And for me, I learned that I am in control of nothing but one thing, my response. That's it. I don't get to control people. I don't get to control circumstances. I am in control of my response. And my response and my attitude, I want to choose patience. I want to choose gratitude. It's hard. It's terrifying. But if I get to pick a space, that's where I want to hang out.